American Pie, a comedy about a group of boys who are in high school who make a pact to lose their virginity by the end of the school year, which is basically at prom. Um, they are saying that this is a movie that is raunchy, is a raunchy exploration of the most eagerly anticipated and most humiliating rite of adulthood, known as losing one's virginity. And it's a hilarious lesson in life, love, and limbo. A group of friends fed up and their well deserved reputations as sexual no hitters decide to take action. So, of course, when this happens, there is concerns. Um, Vicky accuses Kevin of the only wanting her for sex, which puts a strain on their relationship. And with senior night approaching, it adds another stressor for him. And another kid joins a school choir and hope to find a girlfriend. Here he learns about the sensitivity, which is the basics of asking a girl questions and listening to what they are saying. His plan his plan works when he gets attention from Heather. But once she learns about his reputation, she breaks up with him. Although he wins her back when he leaves the lacrosse championship to go to a choir competition and win a duet with her. What he's doing with her. And although one relationship, and this is another relationship that's highlighted in the movie, um, is taken too far when it's Jim and Nadia. They're together, and Jim decides to set up a webcam in the room that Nadia is changing in. And so she's taking off her clothes, and she's half naked. She's coming back from ballet class, and discovers Jim's pornography collection. And while half naked, she then Jim joins her in the room, and he doesn't realize though that he sent the entire link of the webcam to the entire school's list. So then Nadia's sponsors, she sees the video and she sends her home, leaving Jim without a date for the prom, which kind of creates a lot of issues because then Jim asks another girl, but then the other girl, she did hear about all of this and saw all of this, so she's not into it. This is a movie that is surrounded by real teenagers who are inexperienced with sex and explore wisely sex, but trying to avoid the whole emotional and physical dangers. And it's weird because, as one critic is explaining, there's a turn of events. Originally, teenagers were going out to the movies to watch adults have sex, but now adults are going to the movies to watch teenagers have sex. And there were letters that from viewers complaining about this. Letters saying that they're just too old for steamy scenes. But it's interesting because none of them ever said anything about the two main characters being too young. American Pie involves a lot of sexual content. In this specific critic's opinion, it's too advanced for high school. And a lot of characters who are acting way more casual about the sexual actions than teenagers would be. So basically they're saying that sure, this may be happening in high school on some sort of level, but it's in the sense that it shouldn't be as apparent and as put out there and as promoted almost to be a high school's actual reputation of behavior. So then there was a question that was brought up of when does the rules of comedy allow for the sexual things like this to go too far? Another source has mentioned how the people are rewatching the series and finding it very problematic. So as though it was made in the past, when it's brought up now, when people are watching it now, it's almost like watching little kids shows. You just kind of see how things are more inappropriate than you realize at the time. So another source is mentioning how people are rewatching the series and finding it very problematic and saying how it is creating a negative impact on those who are watching. Especially for those who are in high school now and may not be at this stage. They probably feel like they are behind and they're less. There are many critics that are saying that movie is very sexist. And another wrote, American Pie in the franchise is so ridiculously sexist. Apparently, only guys are allowed to enjoy sex. So it's in the opinions that the guys were set out to go have sex, and it was up to them and for their benefits and etc. When it's supposed to be both. From these critics, it shows that the movie is sexist, especially when it's mentioning how the main character, Jim, the girl in the room, changing, sent it out to others, so it kind of went viral. Of course, he doesn't get in the trouble that you would think that he would get into. And this is just showing how it's very different than how it is now. If you were ever to have this happen, then you would just get in way more trouble than you would, and the girl would be very much so protected, etc., because she didn't know that the webcam would be there, and he would be in way more trouble. And this type of stuff just simply doesn't happen today, and this type of shows just wouldn't happen today, especially on this level, on this age, etc.